This is why we lost to nobody in the votes on best podcast.
Do you remember we keep saying how we're going to try and reduce the length of these episodes?
Yeah.
I like.
Can we stop
I
being
have
good
not
friends?
been the one. I have not been the one that's been going off.
No.
I'm so
Well, to
sorry.
be fair, you did talk about how Leeds died a painful death for about 10 minutes. So
Yeah,
like, you're not
one
getting
10
stopped
minutes.
here, mate.
We're fucking 2 hours into it. Like
we need someone to do. You know how people have done so many like stats on whatever that app is, where it's to do with like players getting
Ross
hit
likes
and all that
stats. He
stuff.
can do that.
I was gonna say we can get Ross to do stats on who's got the most dead air time right now. He's just talking about absolute nonsense and tell us.
I
which
want
is
to know
the
how
useless
much of
podcaster.
our podcast is just us laughing. Like that's what I want.
Yeah.
It's got to be around the 10% mark, surely.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Probably more. This is why I shouldn't have had a nap before this, because I've actually got energy now. This is a very bad thing for this podcast.
I've been chucking
Anyway.
coke.
You...
2 cans down.
So, men's Super League. Speaking of Storm, I can actually tangent my way into a match here.
Well done. Go
Storm versus Cov, right? So this was a lot tighter than it needed to be, right? Storm were 7-1 up. And then for 3 sets in a row while Nick's crying.
It's so broken.
You can tell Storm were just like, you know what? We're bored here. Let's give a few sets away to Cov. And they did that. It got back to 7-all. Then Storm won the next set quite easily. And then it was a very tight set. I think it was 3-2 in players to Storm with about 3 seconds left. And Sam Lav, after being thrown at, runs up for a counter. I can only assume everybody behind him was screaming hold. And with literally 1 second left, throws an absolute easy catch into Alex Taylor's chest. And Alex Taylor picks it, whistle blows, and he's just like, why? Dan Ryan runs on like, yeah. And Alex says, you just tell Alex they're like,
why?
Through? I'll be honest, right? Watching this back, I was begging that Storm fuck that game up. Begging, because that was the dumbest thing. Not only did they just fucking throw away 3 sets in a row to make it 7-all, Sam Lav literally in the final seconds, trying to be Billy Big Bollocks in a set, gets absolutely punished the fuck. And I'm just there wetting myself going, what the fuck have I just watched? I can see Woody's face in the background of the coach's box, just like, that just he really threw that. Anyway, so Nicky, back to reality.
I think you know what? It's just reminded me of the email that all the BD clubs received about what happened.
About the bathrooms and stuff. I mean, according to Bantam Dodge, there's definitely something happening in the bathrooms in St. George's.
Hey, yo.
I mean, that's wild.
Not surprising at all. I wanted to say, while Colin was talking, 3 draws in this league meet. That's amazing. That's fantastic.
Know, right?
What's happened there?
Nick can't complain that it's not an interesting league anymore.
Yeah,
we still will, but that's different.
I'm invested in Men's Super League. What's happening?
I mean, there's still quite a few one-sided scores, but yeah.
There wasn't every league, but it's just
this is much less one-sided than Women's Super League was. In this meet. You have to give them credit.
You're not allowed to say bad things about Women's Super League. Nick will get upset.
Yeah.
God knows what. I'll be kicked off the podcast if I say anything bad about Women's League One.
This is what happens, right? When we haven't spoken to each other in literally 2 months. Yeah. And then the first opportunity we have, it's like, Nick, right, here we go. Have I got a way to take the piss out of you?
Ruin your confidence. Not like self-esteem.
What happened to Killer Bees? Please explain that.
Killer Bees is actually Killer Bees started off very, very well, and they did this thing called make hits in the first half, and it made it a very close game. And then the second half, they forgot what that was. They also forgot how to dodge. First half, they were making a lot of really good single ball hits. They were taking a lot of catches, surviving really well, backing each other up really, really well. Second half, couldn't fucking hit a barn door, honestly. It was really, really sad. And And it became a bit of a theme for the majority of the rest of the day, to be perfectly honest. Yeah, and then Spartans just, did Spartan things and started bidding them off, played really smart, aggressive dodgeball, and just never allowed them to get any momentum in the second half. Not even sure. I think we might have just had one draw in the second half, and that was it. Because I think it was 7-5 halftime, maybe 7-7. Spartans. It was all Spartans second half. First half, genuinely, the first half was a really good watch. Wouldn't watch
just
anything
stop
after
there. Close the tab at that point.
Just pause the live stream. Go touch grass.
The other thing I just want to shout out: Silverback scorelines. Like they've lost 3 games there, but they've lost them really well. Like that's 12-10, 12-10, and 14-10.
Yeah, I watched a couple of them. I think it was more that because Cov play that slow dodgeball, they very rarely go into crazy spells. That I think that was a big reason. Like they're incredible at grinding out sets, that they're a few players up.
But you look at who they lost to. They lost to Spartans 2, they lost to Sheriffs, and they lost to Storm. Like it's.
Let me at Nick. Let me at it, you Nick.
Go on, go.
So, do you remember the last podcast where you said that Spartans 2 would never win a game this league?
I don't remember that, but I yeah, sure, fine, fuck it.
And I said,
get him, Cole.
I said, don't be surprised if they come away with a win, and then the next meet they got a win.
Yeah, fair enough. But tip my hat to them. Well done, you got a win. Congratulations.
Such a bitter
you sound
man.
so bored, and so bitter.
Other match I'm going to call out for B's is the Killers Norwich game, which eventually was decided by the worst invalid decision I have ever seen. So basically, in the first half, there was a set where I think his name's Ryan, the bearded guy in Norwich, one of their big wingers. He basically kind of tripped and dropped his ball, and it rolled across the court. And the referee, I will not name names, said it wasn't an invalid, even though it completely rolled over to our side. He's like, "Oh, it wasn't intentional." I was like, does it matter? Like, I was sat with Joe Brown. I was ball retrieving for Killers, and I was like stood there with Joe, and Joe was like, oh, Joe, can you go in there and like tell him that you think it's an invalid? He's like, there's no way they're not calling it invalid. I was like, there's 4 referees having a discussion. Something's happening. Go fucking tell him. And then Joe just turns around with the most like confused look in his face. And he was like, yeah, he said because it wasn't intentional that he's not given the invalid. I'm just like, where the fuck's this in the rules? Oh, God bless my housemate. I need to be quiet. But yeah, that diabolical call was made, and Bees end up drawing with Nighthawks, and I blame that moment. They also, it doesn't help that Bees couldn't hit a barn door for the majority of the match.
I was going to say, it shouldn't have to decide the outcome.
It shouldn't have been the decider. However, that was the decider.
Fair.
I mean, Nighthawks and Storm are like
a draw.
Nighthawks and Storm are 2 teams this year that I've been disappointed in their results, because like Nighthawks, with how they did in League One, like I would have thought they would have done so well this season, and they haven't. And Storm, on paper, solid team, just can't seem to put it together. But Nighthawks have really surprised me with how poor their results have been. I thought they could, take on quite a few teams here, especially like how, no offense, but how weak Killer Bees were this week. Because like when we did the match to catch and we went Spartans Bees, which I know I was sort of leaning on saying we should do, you were like, nah, I'm not supporting this because I actually know what the team sheet's going to be for Bees. And when that was revealed, I was like, okay, yeah. The fact that
you do have to take into consideration with Bees at the moment, you're missing 3 pretty much dead certain right wingers in Aiden, Ross, and Robbie at the moment. It's a lot to lose in terms of quality, especially in the arms department. And that seems to be just what they're lacking at the moment, is the consistency of making those signal ball hits. They're still playing the usual style of play, but the hit percentage is a lot lower than what it would usually be. You'd be fine if you were missing one of them. And Bevers wasn't even back yet either. Another one. He's only just come back recently. So there's like half a team worth of big players that you're missing.
But that's what I mean, right? Like, is that really surprised me about Nighthawks, because like considering how well they did the season before, like I really would have expected them to kick on this year. But
it's a difficult one. It is a massive adjustment.
I expected them to do as well in their first season as Derby did in their first season.
I can understand why. I can understand why, and I can see where you're coming from. But I like Norwich against Bees. I haven't watched too many of their matches, so I can't like comment why it hasn't been working out as well. But I know against Bees that if they came up, if we played as well as we did against the early days of this, like the early sets of the Spartans game, we'd have battered them. Like if we were making those single ball hits that like would be Bees' bread and butter, like they were well gone. And to be honest, there was a lot of sets that we probably should have seen out where a dumb decision here or there just handed them opportunities to keep staying in the game. And a few other things that I won't go into because people will get mad at me. But yeah, we to be honest, we should have won that game, and we should have won it a lot more comfortably than the scoreline suggests. To be perfectly honest.
And the only other game
I know where you're coming from though.
Yeah, I mean the only other game I want to look at was Sheriffs versus Derby, because that I did get to see some of that, and that very much felt like Sheriffs fully dragged Derby into their own game and their own play style, and very much got into Derby's heads, and that's what made the game close, and it worked for Sheriffs. They knew what they needed to do to get points. So
yeah, I've always said Sheriffs are just that annoying team that always seem to mostly match the level of whoever they're playing, and it definitely came out in a few of these games. Like they went from who did just get beat by earlier that day? Cov,
they just beat Cov.
They just beat Cov.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, just beat Cov. Storm somehow turned up after going toe to toe with Cov for the entire game, and then they go and draw with Derby, who had been having a great season at that point. Still are having a great season. I think they're still undefeated. Like it's a great day for them to walk away from that. I imagine if you had offered them 3 points before going into that day, they would have bit your hand off, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely. I think words to that effect were said on the other podcast.
The other podcast. Yeah.
The Enemy, the number 2 podcast.
No, not The Enemy. Come on.
They're only the enemy if they don't sing at the start of their next episode. We've covered this.
That's never war or rage.
Anyway.
Oh my god, it's Switzerland again. Sorry.
I haven't moved the team.
You're gonna start singing the anthem. We've been lacking tangents in this episode.
Teams are the wrong way around, but
yeah. I was gonna say, Killers are your best friend.
Killers are not doing that well.
That should be
Killers are your best friend. You've actually got a fair whack wrong here, mate.
Yeah, no, I know.
I'm not sure this graphic is going to help.
Yeah.
just scrap it at this point.
So moving on.
So we'll talk it through. So
well, yeah, I mean, if you guys can see it on the website, then I can overlay this in the post edit.
Yeah, okay.
I think you should overlay. I think you should own your mistakes, but yeah.
So much of this podcast is getting
at the top of the table is Meteors with 11 points. To be fair, you've got the points right.
Yeah, I just didn't move the teams around.
So we have Meteors in first, Spartans in second, Derby in third. Then you have a bit of a jump to Bedford in fourth.
Sorry, which Bedford? Sorry, which Bedford?
Bedford Rangers. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I thought because little puppies aren't in Super League that you would have known.
What a question.
That's my bad. No, sorry, it's for regulation purposes.
Bedford Eels, in fact, teal.
Sure. So you have Storm.
Sure.
then you have Killer Bees. There's a fairly big jump to Nottingham Sheriffs, who only have 3 points. Then Spartans 2, after their first win in the league. And then you have Norwich Nighthawks. And then you have Coventry Silverbacks, who have yet to win a game or even draw. Losers.
Wow.
I can say that. Because I know how they feel.
Anyway. Yeah, I didn't expect Derby to be so high up this early on in the season, to be honest.
I definitely would have chucked them into that top 4 or 5 candidates, to be honest. I just think the way they play just annoys a lot of teams. Like they really don't allow you, or 9 times out of 10 they wouldn't allow momentum to swing in any direction, really, which a lot of teams don't like. A lot of teams like to try and build up the pace when it comes to the games.
I mean, when
Derby,
you can
Derby just kill it.
reliably throw a ball a meter above someone's head, I mean, fair play.
That's debatable. When you can reliably not have a referee call you out for it, that's a more accurate statement, in my opinion, my humble opinion. All I'm saying is get the meter ruler out at some point.
Yeah.
I do think a few referees could do with a measurement course.
Maybe, yeah.
New Specsavers.
Maybe, to be honest, maybe it could be me that needs one. Like in all honesty,
Part of the refs course 101 is some basic trigonometry.
Why not?
Tell me where I'm wrong. But yeah, I honestly thought, the reason I say that is because I honestly thought that Meteors and Spartans would be well ahead on the top 2, but I thought everyone else would be taking chunks out of each other, and it just surprised me that no one's really bitten into Derby yet. Like, it's one, like that Derby Storm game is one that I'd probably expect to be a very a close game, and one that I'd probably expect Storm to get ahead of Derby on, just because Storm are wild like that. And then Storm
don't do anything stupid.
Don't say that.
They will, like they fully
they will.
I say this every time, and I've said this for most Storm games, right? But I was watching that Cov game, and as I said, literally nearly threw it away on several occasions. Like it's almost like they're like, I'm bored of a easy, comfortable win. Let's bring them back into it for shits and giggles.
Storm,
it's a very Fowler thing to do, to be honest.
London Storm, like men's team, are like essentially like the 2010s French national rugby team. Like you just didn't know what team would show up. like sometimes
it wouldn't be a Catch and Out episode without Nick dragging in some other random sport.
Yeah, random sport rugby. It's Six Nations at the moment.
2010. You go back 14 years.
2010s.
Oh, 10. Sorry. Apologies. That makes it so much better.
It does. Yeah. For those that
follow exactly what you're saying.
Point is, you never know what's going to turn up, and I'd hope that they'd beat. I don't know if they've played Derby already, but I hope that they would beat them, because that would then sort of even out that mid-table a bit more, and I think put Spartans and Meteors in the position where it's a top 2 race again. But I know obviously Derby drew to Spartans, which sort of threw things into chaos in the first league meet, didn't it? So
chaos.
Yeah. Right. Fixtures. My PC's trying to trip me up here. There you go.
Sure is.
God, there's so many matches.
I know.
Yeah.
At least we find our probable match to catch.
Yeah.
Meteors and Spartans.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Meteors and Spartans, or Meteors and Derby, to be fair, but Meteors and Spartans, I think, has to take it, doesn't it?
It's the one that's actually going to be recorded, isn't it?
Yeah. That's a good match. I mean, that's always a good match, isn't it? It's a reliably very good match.
Nick doesn't like it.
No,
because Nick doesn't like good matches.
That's
I don't know what I've done. Like, I've clearly pissed these guys off.
Hold up. Why is that the one that Colin says is harsh? Of everything I've said tonight. I'm going Spartans. I'm locking in my decision.
Meteors, Spartans. You're going Spartans win. Zoe.
Yeah. Yeah, they're good at that match, aren't they? So are Meteors, but I think didn't Spartans win it the last time?
I think so, yeah. I like Spartans seem to have Meteors figured out.
Yeah.
So I'd agree with you.
Since we've become besties since our social media war, I'm going to go with Meteors.
You're just saying that to have the opposite opinion to me again.
A little bit. I did wait for you to answer first to make sure that I could make that joke. I did make an assumption, but I wanted to be sure. But also, we're besties now, so gonna go with them.
Nice.
I mean, some bottom table clashes as well. Nighthawks against Sheriffs and Nighthawks against Spartans too as well.
Yeah, no, some good matches. It'll be a really interesting meet this one, actually, I think, for all the teams, especially with the gap. Yeah.
I'm actually also really looking forward to Storm Rangers.
Yeah, could. That could be a fiery one, I think. Would be the way to describe it.
I do enjoy it though.
That'll be a loud match.
You'll
be able to hear that anywhere.
It's not a good match, loud.
It's loud. I won't comment on the quality, but the noise levels on that one.
Oh, it's not even going to be on the court with the Satan either, is it?
No, Spartans behind it. Spartans 2 reffing that as well. That's going to be brilliant.
Oh, yeah, that will actually be quite funny. To be fair.
R.I.P. any refs on that day. Right, Men's League 1. On to our final league.
And then we're done, right?
Yeah, then we're done.
I can sleep.
Same. Anyway, this actually had some really close matches this meet, didn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, lots of draws again. Look at that. 2 draws.
Nick, where would you like to start? This is your league.
Yeah, you like this.
What do you
3
mean
draws.
it's my league?
I missed Ronda.
Well, I don't play it at the moment, so...
I mean, didn't you show up?
You're not playing it either. Oh shit, I forgot.
and you were coaching, so we were in the same...
To be honest, out of the matches I've seen in this league, it was the Bees games, and what was the other one I watched? Oh, I watched the fair whack of the Ronda Sheriff's one.
Yeah, I didn't catch any of that. What happened?
Yeah.
To be honest, Ronda just kind of went a bit too chaotic, and Sheriffs played a really nice, calm, smart decisions game, which kept them in it. Even though, ability-wise, I don't feel they were matching Ronda, really. They might argue me on this one. But yeah, Ronda just went a bit crazy at times, and Sheriffs just lapped it up and survived the aggression that Ronda were giving them. That's it. Yeah, it was very much a back and forth affair.
It doesn't surprise me, because that is definitely how Ronda played against Leeds. We got absolutely screwed by the number of rebound catches they made. It was a joke. I think they got 4 or 5.
Really?
Yeah. We were I mean, from a Leeds perspective, it was not our day. Against Beagles, we were 2 sets down, and we were 4-2 up with 8 seconds to go in a set. Time had been paused because the 5th ball went missing. It didn't go missing. Beagles had it, but time got paused. They then go and stand in the corner.
That's the most Beagles thing ever.
That's a great sentence.
But there was 8 seconds left, right? There's no play ball. Even if play ball gets called, time's going to... We throw a single. It gets caught. So someone then throws another one to cover the single throw, because it's what the hell just happened? that rebounds and then gets hits the player in front. That player then doesn't go out because they don't feel it, and the ref nearby doesn't notice it. Meanwhile, the Storm seconds ref on our side of the court is like screaming at the ref to tell that player to go out. Like, Pat is stood at the front like, you just got hit, and then gets hit by Arnie, who's then running on court because he just got caught back in. So it's like, now we're suddenly 3-3 because they're not out yet. And then, like, people go, okay, right, it must be 3-3. We need to claw this back to win the set. And then chaos ensues. And then all of our players go out. Like, they get hit or they get caught. In 8 seconds to go from 4-2 up to losing every player is incredible. I apologize. I apologise to Wessex for how much I slated them last year for bottling 6-2 up against Storm 2. Because I've witnessed something far, far worse. And I sincerely apologise.
Oh my God.
But it was just one of those ones. And then we were in the second half, and I was just like, we were 4-3 up, and there was like 30 seconds left. And we were dodging everything was going fine, and like we were throwing singles. And I was telling to Jess, like, we need to be more aggressive. We need to, like, we can't be 4-3 up. We've got to win, because otherwise some dumb shit's going to happen and we're going to get out. And as soon as I say that, we get double hit. And it's like the most painful match. And then like that just basically cascades into all our matches. So it wasn't just our heads weren't in it, like, after that, because we did like pick ourselves up. You can see 13-9 against Wessex, and we kind of were in it against Ronda at some stages, but some of the dumbest shit was coming off, like, for Ronda. Like, they were getting, like, rebound catches that they were trapping with their legs. Like, it was wild, some of the stuff. And you know, just when the day isn't going for you and you have to just chalk it up, that is exactly what happened to us. Like, not much else can be said. It was just, like, I would still say we're up there and we're in with a fighting chance when wild, crazy shit doesn't go our way. But we also didn't help ourselves at time. Like, you know, if you've got 8 seconds left, don't fucking throw a ball. Like, you know. But anyway, that was Leeds.
I can go on a bees rant as well if you want.
if you want.
No, actually, to be honest, like I was really shitting on Workers the first podcast we done for the first meet. But they really turned it around for this meet in terms of the work ethic was really there. Like they, especially for the first 2 matches, put everything into it to try and come away with something. The Wessex game, it was back and forth up until I think it was, I want to say it was 7-all, maybe 8-all, something like that. And then there was just a set where it went so chaotic, like both teams just going back and forth for a good like 30 seconds, it felt like. And they just binned us off immediately. They made a hit, we missed, and then they were quickly getting the ball back on court, and then we're just kind of going back at each other that way. Yeah, fair play to them. They handled it really well. We didn't, and then I think we just lost. You know, there's just that set where you just feel like it completely takes the momentum away from your team, and everybody just walks away from it really deflated because just nothing went right. And that Wessex just finished us off after that, unfortunately. But again, it was a performance that after the first meet, every performance was fucking piss poor. I mean, piss poor. Whereas at least after that game, we walked away going, you put everything into it. You were making a lot of the right choices, dodging really well, making a lot of hits. Like, you were doing everything right. Just one set just completely took you out of the game. We went into the Storm 2 game, you know, feeling good about ourselves, knowing that we could give them a game. And then it was pretty, again, very back and forth. And I think it was 10, might have been 10-8 to us, or again, 8-all. And there was a set where chaos ensued. And again, Storm were binning us off, and we couldn't make a hit to save our lives in that big exchange. And we just walked away, and you were trying to pick the lads up, but they just kind of felt that was the set that took the game away from them. Especially it was very late into the game. It was the set that basically was going to decide who was going in with momentum into the final set. and yeah, Storm took it. Fair play to them. That was a really good game. Definitely want to recommend people watching. And then we went into our game against Rangers 2, and the boys were knackered. Like, everybody's arms were just gone. They were like, the reactions were slower. They weren't taking as many catches. The open plays were a bit sloppy, and yeah, Rangers 2 just binned us off, to be honest. Especially in the second half, they just completely wiped the floor with us. But yeah, overall, like the improvement from Meet 1 to Meet 2 is chalk and cheese. And as we hopefully might be getting a couple of people returning back from injuries and stuff, we're hopeful that going into meets like 3 and 4 will be even stronger and much more of a unit. So yeah, I'm feeling positive. We're still kind of just aiming for survival, to be honest, though.
I mean, yeah.
With everything we've gone through as a club this year in terms of injuries and stuff, in the men's side, like we're very much just trying to cling on for worker survival at this rate.
Yeah, I mean, looking outside of just our clubs, some like clubs that have surprised me or teams that surprised me with their results is Sheriff's 2s this year seem to be taking like a massive chunk out of their first team's book of just being really close in every game, regardless of who they're playing. Draw against MK, which they should have decidedly won, let's be honest. MK are not playing that well this season. I know they got hit with a huge COVID bout at the beginning of the year, but still, they had players that could definitely do better, and Sheriffs definitely had the ability to beat them. Being within one set against Beagles, massively impressive, and then drawing to Ronda as well.
Huge day for them.
Yeah, huge, yeah. Because like, given going into this day was like Leeds, Ronda, and Beagles were all tied on the same, because we'd all played the same teams. So then, yeah, like if you look at the results, the results on the day between the three teams are massively different. So it'll be interesting to see how that pans out. And I know Sheriffs will be up there, but Wessex as well seem to have sorted it out a lot more since their first league meet. Got a lot more oomph behind them. So only losing by one.
They're a tough opposition.
Eagles. Yeah, I like that Wessex Storm 2 game was actually really quite definitive. Like in the first league meet, that was a really good game, and I think that to me, if you're losing to either of those two teams, you're in the bottom half. If you're beating those two teams, you're in the top half, and I think they're going to be like the middle of the pack, like 5th and 6th positioning, because they are solid teams and they are going to be real tough, I think.
Yeah, fair.
On to the table.
Zoe's here too.
I don't have any opinions. I was wondering if anyone was going to notice that I've been completely
every time it comes to League One, you're always like, oh yeah, I don't have anything to say. So
that league exists.
The thing is, yeah, I don't have anything to say. It's more like I don't have that much to say on Men's Super League either by comparison. It's just that I know that you guys have a lot to say on League One. So I don't feel as if my opinion matters as much on Men's League One, whereas on Men's Super League, I feel like we can all somewhat equivalently contribute.
Your opinion always matters, Zoe.
It does, sorry.
Oh.
It does.
I'm not sure that's true for this episode. I've said some absolutely foul things.
I mean, the amount of effort you've given me, the amount of effort you've made me have to go through to edit this now, like.
I want you to leave all of it in. I think you should be brave.
Not happening.
I just want to see if anybody actually. I want to see if anybody actually calls it out.
I'm not gonna make a joke. I'm not gonna make a joke.
Anyway, coming back on target. So Storm 2 and Wessex in that 3rd, 4th position, and Beagles and Ronda currently at the top. I don't know how long this Ronda win streak's gonna last at the top. I'll be honest. I don't know.
Well, it's in top 2.
Yeah, I don't know if they'll be figured out next league meet. I think they've got to play Beagles still. And I can't remember who else they got to play.
That's the real telltale game, to be fair. I would agree with you there.
Because I think Ronda and Beagles could, that last league meet, comparatively, Ronda and Beagles had a much easier day than we did. Because we played both of them.
Yeah, but both are unbeaten. It's not like it was just that league meet that puts them in the top two.
No, I know, but like we were unbeaten going into that one as well. So
how well did that end up?
Yeah, no, exactly. That's my point.
That's the point.
Yeah, I know. I'm just trying to wind them up. Jesus,
it's quarter to 11. Like, come on.
Yeah, I know.
Very aware.
Now I'm pushing it. No, I could. Ronda have the ability to stay up there in the top two. They're just lacking that tactical awareness for the tighter sets because I think they're just kind of used to bulldozing most of the teams that they come up against for so long. I kind of noticed it in British champs that they played at, where they kind of still stuck to their guns of trying to play a more aggressive game, and if they can adapt a bit more to the league, I think they'll be fine. I think they'll be up there in the top 2 or 3. But I could see Storm creeping in there. Like it's definitely. I think it'd be 2 out of those 3 for sure, in my opinion.
Yeah, it could be. I think that top 6 is really any of those teams from the top 6 could end up there. I reckon.
I don't. Wessex might creep into it. I don't see you guys or Sheriffs 2 sticking around in the promotion spots, to be honest.
Well, we'll see.
Oh yeah, okay.
I can be optimistic.
There's one good league beat, and he's like Billy Big Bollocks now.
I'm not playing for that team, so
still a club.
Yeah, and I want them to do well, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, how about bees? Do you reckon they're going to get out the bottom?
It really depends about if we can get a few players back for the second half of the season.
Because 9th already being on 3 points is kind of tough.
Yeah, it's really rough on us. Like, it wouldn't be too bad if like we were the only points that people were taking away, but they're all kind of chipping into each other, which is good and bad at the same time.
Yeah.
It just makes it a bit difficult to jump 2 spots.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean. Like, you're now gonna have to beat. At late, you're gonna have to get like 3 wins probably by the end of the season. Next meet, I don't think we're gonna be getting anybody back from the looks of it. So it'll be difficult. I don't even know where our fixtures are off the top of my head, to be honest. But the potential's there. I think we'll pick up points before the end of the season. A lot of it's going to be just how well the teams around us do. It is the brutal honesty. Like, we'll have to get a fair whack of wins in before the end of the season to even give ourselves a chance, unfortunately.
I mean, you have got a fairly easy schedule next league meet with Sheriffs 2, MK, and Silverbacks 2. Like, all bottom of the table teams. No, I'm not saying any of them are going to be easy matches, but like, you know, in terms of
it's the easier set. But yeah, we have another injury on the roster, and we don't know if we're getting anybody back. And I'm definitely not back at full fitness yet. So I don't know. Like, the potential's there. If the lads can step up and play how I know they can play, like, we could take points off of, honestly, any of those teams in reality. None of them particularly scare me. So if I get more of the prime second meet worker bees, we could easily walk away with 1, maybe even 2 wins. It's just having that consistently throughout the day is where we tend to lack. We play really well early in the day, and then struggle towards later on. Especially whenever we play quite a heavy throwing game. We don't really play that defensive that often. So yeah, it is, honestly, it's going to be a really tight league meet for us, but a very important one, realistically.
I think all the Ronda games are going to be interesting. This is where Ronda gets tested.
Yeah,
Beagles,
100%.
Wessex, and Storm too. you've got first, third, and fourth there. Ronda are playing, so I definitely think Ronda have got the trickier league meet. We'll see what they're made of, because I think that'll be telling whether they're actually in the top 2 or not.
I'm very interested in that game against Beagles. I'm very interested to see how they handle Arnie, purely because they'll probably play a very quick counter game to try and bid him off. And you know how Bedford love to do that, like pass the ball from the middle to Arnie, because Papa Arnie can't go out. I'll interested to see how they handle that. Assuming he's there, of course. If they're able to kind of like pin him down early on in sets, I think they could even walk it, to be honest. I think their style of play suits would go in their favor in my head against Beagles.
Oh no, I 100% agree. I think the more interesting Ronda game will be against Wessex.
I actually think Storm too.
Yeah, maybe. I just think Storm 2, if they get Aggie, I think if Storm 2 get Aggie, their heads will be gone in the first few sets, and then there goes a competitive match. I think Wessex are going to be more even tempered and harder to break down than Storm 2, and give a similar-ish play style to Storm 2. That's just how I see that one going down. I don't know. All three of them are going to be fantastic matches either way.
Yeah, it'll be nice to see the top 4 will be very shaken up after that meet, no matter what happens.
Who Sheriffs 2 got? They've got Sheriffs 2 got an interesting day as well. So gonna be some interesting results for sure.
Table.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, there was a huge shake-up after the first league meet to the second one. But we'll be halfway through at that point, and that will be interesting for sure.
Crazy.
What are we going to say our match to catch is? Which Ronda game?
Storm 2.
Storm 2? Sure.
Yeah.
What would you
say?
Feels
weird not picking. It feels weird not picking 1 and 2 with Beagles, but I would also probably agree that. Yeah, I would probably go with Beagles, to be honest.
Let's go with Beagles.
It's definitely a Ronda game, though. All three of them, all 3 Ronda games.
Yeah, all 3
Ronda
games
for different reasons. I wouldn't be mad at any of them. If you want to go hit with the hipster choice is going to be Storm 2. If you want to go with the obvious
let's
choice,
not be hipster. Let's go. What's the Wessex one then?
It's next choice, which makes it the loser's choice.
I mean, you could have just said, "Oh, that's the Nick choice." Like that would have been offensive enough. But then go, "It's also the loser's choice."
Why is that offensive? It's just literally your choice. That's not offensive at all. That's why I have to say.
Anyway,
let's go with the Beagles
Ronda
match.
Beagles.
It's earlier in the evening as well, so they'll be playing full strength. It won't be tired bodies, so it might be more interesting for that as well. Yeah,
it'll be interesting to see how Beagles handle Ronda's quick start, because it is fast.
Yeah.
That is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember Workers got pretty much binned off by it every single time, to be honest.
Yep. It is tough to compete against that quick start. There's a lot of things that go in Ronda's favour, but then it is just Beagles, and Beagles being it also depends
they're annoying to beat.
Yeah, and it also depends what team turns up, because they change their lineup quite regularly. I feel.
I do. The big caveat of that game is to be honest, the Arnie situation, because he can control. He's not like incredible in any way, shape, or form, but he's just a very smart. He's a very, very smart dodgeballer, and his experience very much shines through in this league, because he can just like slowly drag the team through matches on his own. It's very annoying.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see.
I think having just come from that and having seen how he was playing there, I'm gonna go with Beagles personally.
I will go with Ronda.
Right. Okay. Thanks, Colin.
That genuinely would have been my choice, no matter who you picked.
Sure.
Because I do think the Ronda style of play will match up very well against Beagles.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I think Beagles are probably the better team over a season, but I think Ronda beat Beagles.
Very fair analysis.
Yeah. I'm going to go Ronda too.
A good game. It will be a very good game.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Nice. Have we done it, guys? We've finished.
It does. That's us to wrap up. That's.
Long
episode. that was painful.
That might be
at least for me that was painful. Oh god. Yeah. Wow. Okay. We'll try and not leave it like a whole 2.5 months between recordings, so we don't have this disaster again. But yeah. I did actually have some other things I wanted to say, but I cannot remember them right now. So.
Probably the best.
It was going to be, I'll probably do a rambling monologue podcast or something or whatever Zoe and Colin allow me to do to cover the regional league meets. Because I have been getting feedback on the South.
The North and South Nationals.
The men's League 2 and 3, North and South. So
I can jump on for the North part of it.
Yeah. I mean, like the only thing I can comment on the second on the Souths is what I've been sent or what we've been sent by messages, which we have been reading. So it's been really useful and interesting to see how things are getting on down there. Yeah, I think it'll be good to hop on and do something or cover them a little bit. So, and also apologies to Bucks for completely missing the second half of your season and not doing graphics for them. Like life's been wildly busy the last couple of weeks, so I haven't done any graphics.
There is a reason why it's taken us this long to record.
Yeah.
It's not been through choice. I can tell you that much.
But congratulations to all of them who've made Bucks champs, and good luck. And I hope it all goes well. And congrats on another Bucks season. But yes, that's it. Woo. Please like and subscribe. We're now over 200. Massively appreciate that. And see you at League.